Gundam.tk presents Unicorn Gundam. Hey, what's up everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs, 2Bs from Gundam.tk, and I'm continuing my look at the high-grade Universal Century Unicorn Gundam in Destroy mode. Check out part 1 to see all the plates, instruction manuals, etc. But now it's time to take a look at the parts because they are pretty well engineered, let me tell ya. Starting at the bottom and working our way up, the first thing you'll notice is that you've got blue feet, which really stand out and are fairly unique because most Gundams have red feet anyway. But here you're going to get parts, and the way this thing is put together is pretty cool, but you can't ask for anything in terms of mobility. But you've got the red polycaps, which look good with the psycho frame, and you pop these parts on the side and this part into the back, and the effect of the feet is very cool despite their limited mobility. And by limited I mean 0. But it was the legs that really blew me away with this, just in how well designed they are. So first of all, I went with gray lining. It's just the $2 Gundam lining marker that I always use, and I think that worked pretty good, but I wanted to go light with that. But if you notice up at the top, even just putting this thigh together is about 6 or 7 pieces, a couple polycaps. It's just one small pink part that you pop in here, but otherwise you have a big block. So the inner frame is really made out of psycho frame, it feels like, and then you put the white parts around it. So for mobility you can move it this much and then this much, which is a pretty good 90 degrees, but of course they use 2 joints to get it there. But the little details just blew me away with this. So first of all, these are small gray parts that you actually put into the leg armor from the inside before attaching the armor on, and I just added a little bit of lining, but again, that's something they did not have to do, but it looks great for the fact that they did do this. And these parts as well, they're very small and you've just got to shave them just right when you put them in, but otherwise everything fits together just perfectly. So really this matches everything that the Master Grade has except its problems, and the fact that because it doesn't have a transforming mechanism, the psycho frame is just here, the white parts snap on very well, everything stays in place, so it has all of the looks of the Master Grade and every detail faithfully recreated with 0 of the problems. The waist section is again a faithful recreation of all the details that it should have. So first of all in the back, these parts do not really move, but they can move just a little bit, which feels a bit flimsy. But this is where you're able to attach the extra magazine pack that they're kind enough to give you. Of course this is in gray, not blue like it should be in the Master Grade. But anyway, that just clips on there. Little tiny details like the extra gray parts there that go inside this side armor around the psycho frame are much appreciated. The front skirt is of course attached together, you could cut that if you want, and the pink parts you can see a little bit of the white underneath, but otherwise at a distance you'll have no problem looking at this and saying, wow, yeah, it's got all the parts that it should. Another cool mechanism here, because you're going to attach this part on first and before putting on the actual chest, which again is just going to give it that much more flexibility all around. Now the chest looks good, and of course the psycho frame is shown off to its full effect there. It's a little bit of gray lining, maybe I should fix that up later. Anyway, you already saw with the stickers that this is a small white part, a pink psycho frame part, and then a white sticker covering it up on the top. That's really the only disappointment, I would say, for any of the colors so far in this kit. For the shoulders, you're able to move them this much, and otherwise the only moving part here on the chest is the neck. So you're going to have a good range of motion with the head. And my other complaint though is on the backpack. You're going to have all the details faithfully recreated again. You've got lots of psycho frame on display. You're able to attach both the shield and the beam magnum onto the back and lock them into place. But it comes with these blue parts. And unless I'm misreading the instructions, when you plug them in, they fall off all the time. They're just not attached in there with any confidence whatsoever. So far I've just kept them off, and probably I'm going to have to keep them off, otherwise they're just going to become one of those missing parts that you stumble across one day vacuuming. The arms are impressive, though not nearly as much as the legs, which just seem to have so many extra details, but first of all the shoulders, which in the Master Grade can be a little tricky to transform. Again, all the details here are faithfully recreated, and you even have small details like they give you a gray part here for the shoulder, which otherwise they might have just made you have to line if you want to make it look fully accurate. As far as this, you have a full rotation here, and the bend at the elbow, you're going to get it up to 90 and just a little bit more. But down in the forearm itself, again, you've got the psycho frame shown off here, the wrists are on, you've got this regular just cap off the hands. You're going to get 3 different fists, you're going to get a trigger finger here for the right hand as well, and the beam saber is attached in here, and it's not really on a good swing mechanism, but you can keep it in place if you choose to. It's just on this kind of an attachment, so if you want to get the unicorn mode as well, I'm guessing that you could take the beam saber from there and attach it into this. The beam magnum is just a big gray block, but of course it's a very well detailed. If you want to put some lining and work into this, and if you wanted to paint this into blue to get the magazine there the right color, you'd have no problems doing it whatsoever. But you'll notice there's an attachment peg there, and you can also pivot up this part here at the back and plug that into the backpack. So you can store that on the back of the Unicorn Gundam while it's in destroy mode, of course, and of course you can swing this out for a shooting pose. But a very impressive looking rifle, because a lot of Gundams just tend to have plain gray blocks, but just because they put in so many lines here, this one, I fully forgive it for not having a blue magazine. The shield here is the other winner for me, just because it has all the details recreated, and something I did not expect. The first thing I expected is with these pink psychoframe parts here is that these would be white seals covering it up on the end, but instead they're white parts, and you can see the way they click on there, but they stay in there fairly well, and I've had no problems at all with stability. Of course you can see them there a little bit, but that sort of just adds to the cool looking effect of the inner frame. This is a special gray part that I put some black lining in. I put minimal gray lining all around it, including on the inside. The back doesn't look as good because of course it has these mount mechanisms here for the white parts. But otherwise, everything just looks good. They didn't have to give you these kind of details, but they do. This doesn't move, but this part allows you to plug it into the backpack. If you pop that off, you're going to get the connector, and this is going to attach onto the forearm of the Unicorn Gundam and allow this shield to spin around, which means you're going to have a lot of posing possibilities. Finally, it's not just SD Gundams that live or die by their head, but this one, I think they did a very good job of recreating it, despite doing something that could be considered a little, well, controversial? Well, maybe that's too strong a word. Anyway, underneath you're going to have a pink psycho frame there that you're just going to put the mask on, and then the stickers, and you're able to put the stickers on and still have, like, this is red on the original Gundam, the Granddaddy RX-78-2, but here it's in psycho frame pink, which looks pretty good. And these white parts, you just slap these on the side and you're not able to spin them around like you were, of course, on the Master Grade. But where the interesting choice that Bandai made is, and I think they made the correct one, is that this V-fin, first of all, it's only attached onto the runners by 1 point, which means it's very easy to cut off and cut it off very well. And when you attach it on, though, it's very bright, vivid yellow, including the back. And of course, if you've seen the anime, when this is closed, to give this the name Unicorn, it should be all white on the outside, so it should only be the fronts that are yellow. And in the Master Grade, they accomplished that in the version Ka version anyway, with gold stickers that really stood out and looked pretty gaudy and didn't look that good overall. So in this case, because you're hardly ever going to be showing it off like this, the fact that it's yellow in the front, for me, was the right decision. So I think the head does capture the anime very well, and the fact that it has the moving neck really gives you lots of possibilities, so full marks for this. So that wraps up part 2, and I hope you've enjoyed looking at the parts, because when I was building these, I was just blown away by quite a few of them. So again, the master gradeization of the high grade kits is just continuing all the time. So anyway, stay tuned for part 3, and we'll actually see this kit put together because, well, the parts and the engineering may be impressive, but if it's not a good model when it's put together, what's the point? So stay tuned to check that out. This is Robert184 from gundam.tk. Stay tuned for lots more reviews. Hit like if you do. Let me know with a comment what you think about the suit or the video itself, and stay tuned for lots more. Thanks for watching.